Video games are pretty great. So a few days ago, I went to PlayStation Experience 2017. This is a yearly event that Sony does where they let fans come in and play their games, meet with developers, and watch panels and all a bunch of things. I went last year. I chronicled my event in a video. Go check it out. Stuff happened, shenanigans and that. And I really enjoyed it. I thought PSX was real cool. And I even said last year, if they were having it out in my area again, I would go. Now, will I be going to PSX next year?
Oh, definitely.
I'm going to, wherever it is, I will try to go. And thankfully, at E3 last year, they said it was coming back to the Anaheim Convention Center. So I knew I had to go back again. This year, something happened that made the entire experience not too great. So the week of PSX, I managed to catch a cold, which led into a flu. And this flu, keep in mind, it's a week later now. It's still ongoing. I'm still feeling it. And I'm better now. I felt this cold the entire week and of the weekend.
So I'm literally 2 days away from PSX and I have caught a cold, I believe. Sore throat, everything, like just my luck.
So already in my mind, I was like, oh, this PSX is gonna be a pain to get through. It's gonna be a lot of trial and error. But I knew I had to just keep pushing, I had to keep going, because I spent money on the ticket. I can't afford to just not go. I will take the hit and go while really sick, then miss out on the money and miss out on the stuff I can do. I was like, it's only 2 days, it's not too bad, I can last. So I just knew the entire week, I just had to just try and get as well as I could for it. So when Friday came, it was time to go pick up my badge. Now last year I picked up my badge early because I knew there was the showcase in the morning. And this year they were doing something different. They had said, because they did the Sony Paris Games Week, they decided that PSX this year would be a little more scaled down. There wouldn't be as much stuff, and it was pretty much going to be like a talk. So I knew, okay, I don't need to stay until 8 o'clock to go watch it, so I went and picked up my badge so that the next morning I could go and just get in line to get inside.
Well, I got here a day early. I came to pick up my badge because I ain't waiting in that line tomorrow. Like,
so I got my badge, I got my bag, and the bag had some pretty cool stuff this year. You get the same PlayStation cup. It looks pretty cool. I've been using it. It makes my water taste pretty good. They gave me a poster. They gave me a little big lanyard and that. Something I didn't know. I don't know if this was something that Sony did in their bag or somebody just knew I was sick. They gave me 2 hand sanitizers in my bag. I don't know if that was like intentional, if they're just like, man, people need to keep their hands clean at the show. But they gave me 2 in my bag. Like, they know I was sick. They're like, hey, this guy's got a cold. He better be using this thing every 5 minutes. So I was just like, okay, Sony, I see what you're doing there. But besides that, the bag was cool. I got the shirt again. I don't know when I'll ever wear it again, but I got the shirt. It looks nice. And I was ready at this point. I was home. I was still feeling bad, but you know what? The next day was PSX. All I had to do now was just watch the presentation that Sony had. So I got in, I got comfy, I got my water, I got my pill all ready. I was laid back, just ready to watch the presentation. And man, I knew it wasn't going to be anything big, but I didn't realize the way they were going to present it. It was so slow and so dry. Literally at the 30-minute mark, I like just shut the stream off. I was like, nah, I'm done. Like, I'm good. You can go. I'll watch the highlights. I was pretty much just on Twitter, just reading the highlights from there because watching the show was just real dry. Like the announcements they did have were cool. Medieval coming to PS4, that's a cool announcement. I really liked that. Wipeout VR, that's cool, and some other stuff they showed, but nothing that I'm really just like, I need to watch this. The only part that made it fun to watch was like when they cut the people in the audience and they were just bored out of their mind or just looking so irritated, just like that was the best part, and made at least watching the stuff on Twitter fun. But yeah, that show, it needed some reworking. They shouldn't have done it that way. They should have had more things to it. It seemed like they thought of it last minute because they were just like the audience. So, Horizon, people in the audience, yeah! So, Persona 5, yeah? Yeah! Yeah, Nier Automata, yeah! What other PS4 game came out this year? Uncharted Lost Legacy, yeah! Like, that's all they were doing in the beginning. They were just naming games so they could get the crowd response, and had people talk about games that came out this year, like, I didn't have a lot of hype. Like, I didn't have, like, expectations like some people had. People were like, oh, they're gonna announce Devil May Cry 5. Oh, we're gonna see Onimusha 5. We're gonna see all these games. I wasn't like that. I was like, they're not gonna show anything. They're just gonna present some stuff. So all was fine. But yeah, I finished it off. I just went to bed early because I knew the next day was gonna be real long. I had to do a lot of stuff, so I went to bed and I got ready for PSX day 1. So day 1 of PSX was finally here. I got my stuff packed up, I got my bag, took some medication with me. I was still feeling like crap, but I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna fight through it. I'm not letting this cold stop me one bit. So I got everything ready, and I made my way out to the Anaheim Convention Center. So on the car ride there, it was pretty smooth. It wasn't too bad getting down there. And I was having kind of thoughts in my mind. It's like, well, you know, last year, that line took me by surprise. I thought, oh, I'll get here early. The line won't be too long. So I was kind of scared. I was thinking, oh man, is that line going to be even worse than last year? Thankfully, my mind was way off. I pulled up there. I got back to the convention center, kind of like deja vu. It's like, man, it seems like I've been on this exact same path a year ago. So I got there, I saw the line, and was very surprised. It actually wasn't that long. Like, I was actually kind of near. I could see where the front of the line was. And surprisingly, the line, like when 10 o'clock hit, the line was moving. People were getting in a reasonable amount of time. So I was actually surprised. I got in fairly quickly. And while in the line, it was something that's funny. So when 10 o'clock hit, they let people go in. People were, now keep in mind, these are people who probably waited here from like the night before. So they were obviously real pumped to get in. People literally, when they got in, I could see them through the window. They were running to get inside the show floor. Just do, like, it was funny. They were just going. Like, you just see people walking the door. Go left. Some people just going. Like, it was, I don't know why it was funny. It's like, hey, we're all going to the same area. Like, yeah, you better hurry up so you can get in line early. But it was just funny seeing that. I was just like, man, people really are running to get in. No one's stopping them, too. That was the funny part. No one was like, hey, shit, I ain't gonna stop that guy. He's running too fast. But line moved pretty quickly, and it actually was like maybe a 20-30 minute line. And I was in. I got through the bag check. I got through all that real quick, and then I was right inside the show floor. And like last year, I still did the same thing. I was looking around, looking to the left, looking to the right, pretty much seeing the sights, seeing what I needed to go check out first. Like, I see the big PlayStation logo and see all this stuff here. And I also see on this side, like, oh, there's a lot of games. I think I see Shadow of the Colossus. I see a bunch of stuff. So I just did a tour of the whole place first. I didn't play games at first. I just walked around. I just wanted to see what stuff I could expect to see throughout the weekend. And there was a lot of stuff, to be honest. So after walking around for a while, I knew I wanted to go play a game, so I saw the Super Meat Boy Run booth.
Quick note, the name of this game is actually Super Meat Boy Forever, not Super Meat Boy Run. I was wrong for the entire duration of the segment. Now with this knowledge, please enjoy.
And I knew I wanted to play that game and check it out. I had been really interested in playing it for myself. Now, I was a huge fan of the original Meat Boy, and seeing Meat Boy Run, I was kind of apprehensive at first. I was like, oh, it's kind of an endless runner. Is it going to feel the same? Is it going to play the same? But after playing it and experiencing it for myself, it still is Meat Boy at heart. You still have the difficulty, you still have the wall jumps, the long jumps, the long physics, the speed. It's all still there. And it was a really fun game. Like from the demo I played, I am actually now pro Super Meat Boy Run. Before I was in the middle, now I'm actually like, you know what, this game is pretty sweet. I'm actually excited to play it. So I wanted to get into another game real quick to not stop the momentum, and there was a booth that was not too far down from Meat Boy Run. A VR game that I'd actually seen from Sony Paris Games called Sprint Vectors. It's a VR game. And how the game is played is it's a racing game where you're on foot. And how you move in that game and how the locomotion is handled is you use your hands like this in like a running motion. And this is how you sprint in the game. And it's a really weird control method. You look real weird doing it. Like, I will admit, like, playing the game, I looked real odd like this. But it's actually a surprisingly fun game in VR. I actually had a good time playing it. I got a pretty good time. I wasn't the best. Like, it's kind of funny. Like, the people with them were like, oh, you don't do these because you won't get a lot of speed. They're like, play like this. So I was like this. But there was some person who was like this. Playing like this, going all crazy. I was like, man, what are they doing? And then you look at their time. They got the best time of the day. They tore it up with that. I was like, I should have been playing like that. But that was a surprisingly cool VR game. It took me a bit to get used to the controls. It's real odd, but once you got it, it just feels natural, and I actually enjoyed it. It was kind of a cool VR game, and the way they handled locomotion was good. So I was interested in it, and it's cool. I got a lot of stuff from PSX. I got a lot of free stuff, and I did get the occasional stuff that I did buy. So one of the big purchases I did buy at PSX this year was at Limited Run Games. I always have to go by that booth and always pick up some stuff. Now this year, they had two games that I had wanted physically for a long time. I missed out on getting Fury. That was my game of the year last year. I wanted it really badly, and I missed my chance when the run went up. So I got that, and I got Skullgirls physical because I wanted that, and of course I missed out again. So I got Fury and Skullgirls physical. They are now in my collection. I don't have to worry now. I was actually really happy after that purchase. I was like, thank you. It's like, because there really was a moment in me. I was kind of like upset. It's like, man, I missed out on Fury. Like, I will never get another chance now, because like, there's no way I'm spending eBay prices on that. Like, no, I'm not getting resellers that way. So when I got it, I was pretty stoked. I also got a bunch of free stuff throughout the weekend. I got a bunch of shirts, I got talent point print vectors, I got posters and all this different stuff. It's more than likely gonna go in just the closet, because you know I'm not gonna probably wear some of these stuff out in public or use all these different things, but I'll always take free stuff. I don't know, maybe I'm just cheap, but I like free stuff. Like who doesn't like free stuff? Who's just like, nah, you know, I don't want that. You know, that game, you know, just fucking just throw it away. I don't want free games. But got some pretty cool stuff this year. So after all that, another game that I wanted to play was Far Cry 5. I saw the line wasn't too long, so I figured it was a good time to go play it. Now this demo, oh man, it did not run well at all. Now I do need to say that it is still in progress. They're still working on the game. It's still in development. But the demo ran at like sub 30, and it never was consistent at all. It was constantly at around 15 or 12, it just ran poorly. And because I was so close to the screen and I had a headache, it like made my headache even worse. It was fun. Like I will say, when I was actually playing the game, it was kind of fun. It still felt like a Far Cry game to me, but the performance really hurt it. I'm not going to take that into account because I'm sure maybe by the time the game comes out, it'll be more polished. It'll maybe be more of a steady 30, but that demo really was rough, and it did not bode well for the game and for me, because it pretty much messed me up for half the day after playing it. More than the VR games, which makes no sense whatsoever. I actually felt better after the VR games than I did in Far Cry 5. And if that doesn't say anything, I don't know what does. So after Far Cry 5, I knew that it was almost time for the Ghost of Tsushima panel. So I made my way over to the arena. I went and watched that panel because I had wanted to see it. I was actually really excited when I saw that teaser. One, that Sucker Punch is working on another game, but more that it's a samurai game. That is my favorite genre of game. Like Onimusha, Ninja Gaiden, Tenchu, Genji, especially Onimusha. So any game that like has samurai and stuff like that, I'm always gonna go for. And like, I'm just a sucker for those type of games. And I wanted to see more about that. I think what they talked about was cool, where they're taking inspiration and what they're going to be doing with it. They didn't show gameplay or anything like that because I guess they're still really early in the concept phase and still working on things. But I'm very excited for what this game's going to be. So whenever this game comes out, you already know, I'm there. Like Sucker Punch, I don't even say anything else. Sucker Punch, they know how to make some quality games, so I'm looking forward to it. I also stuck around and watched the Uncharted 10-year anniversary panel, which was great. It was cool seeing the entire cast. It was a bit sad. It was like, oh yeah, there's no more Uncharted games now, but at least 4 great games. They didn't keep going on, so we're not going to be seeing Uncharted 7 or Uncharted 9 or anything like that. So maybe it's good they stopped, because who knows what Uncharted 5 would have been. It might have been the game that's like, you know, this isn't that good. So that panel was great. I then went on to go play one more game before the Last of Us Part 2 panel, because I wanted to see that before I headed out for the night. The last game I played was a VR game called Shooty Fruity. So the game, which is kind of cool. So you're supposed to be scanning items like a store clerk. You're scanning with like your left hand, and your right hand, guns are coming on this line. And you have to grab the guns and shoot this fruit that's coming to you at the counter trying to kill you. So you have to gradually keep doing 2 things. You have to keep shooting the fruit and also paying attention to the things you're scanning on the floor. It's like, oh, this is real easy. But by the end, it gets so frantic that it's hard focusing on both, because you got fruit coming from all sides. You have these guns piled up here, but then you also have the stuff you gotta scan and get a better score. It was actually really fun. So after that, I went and watched a little bit of The Last of Us Part 2 panel, which I don't know what it was with me this weekend and like leaving or coming into things late or leaving at the wrong time. So I joined The Last of Us 2 panel right after that performance, which apparently was great. So I missed out on the live performance. When I got to the Capcom Cup, I missed out on the Street Fighter Anniversary Pack. I missed out on the DLC characters being announced. It's like I always left right when something cool was about to be announced, and I was so upset when I got home and found out. I was like, wait, there's a performance? I didn't know. I like joined right when the panel like was officially starting too. I was like, this sucks. So the Last of Us 2 panel was pretty cool. They didn't talk about too much because of course the game's still real in development. They're not going to showcase anything, but it was still cool seeing some small tidbits here and there for stuff like that. So after that panel, I knew I was still sick. I was still feeling bad. So I decided just to take the night early and leave like an hour or so early. So I left. I went home. I was still feeling like crap, but I did have at least a fun day. I played some stuff, and I knew at least the next day maybe I'll be feeling better, and maybe I can come back and play even more stuff. So that ended day 1 for me.